Hi Sylvia, how are you?
I'm fine, thank you.
We, we cannot see you.
Well, let's see. Oh, why is the camera off? Okay, let's see. There we go.
Hi, yes, we can see you now.
Hi.
Thank you so much for
So
being a
what?
part of this WYN conferences stage. So before we start the session, we do have an AV of you. So let's play that, and after that you can start your session.
Okay, so you were saying after I missed you. What you were saying,
So
Linda?
before you start your session, we will play a small introductory audio of yours. Okay,
Okay,
so to introduce to the audience and the speakers. So after
okay,
that, you can start your session.
great.
Thank you. Here I am introducing Sylvia Skinner Anderson. Sylvia Skinner Anderson is an author, a successful businesswoman, an experienced public speaker, and educator. She is active in her community where she has been honored as Woman of the Year and Citizen Volunteer of the Year. As a tireless public servant, Sylvia has served as a representative for District 48 in the Utah State House of Representatives, at which time she was awarded Rookie Legislator of the Year by her peers. After passing HB 40, the Safe Drinking Water Amendment, Sylvia received an award from the Rural Water Association for her work on this critical legislation that provides Utah residents with healthy, clean water. Sylvia has continued to work on issues of importance to her. Beginning in August of 2009, Ultimate Events Inc., the company she owns, provided an annual fundraising event for our public schools and students in need. Thousands of dollars were raised for local schools and dozens of boxes of new school supplies were donated to students as a result of these events. Sylvia recognized that during these difficult economic times, with school budgets shrinking, money and support must be found elsewhere. Public or private partnerships are one direction she sees as a viable direction. Recognizing a disconnect between students and the need to take certain course subjects, Sylvia has created a speakers bureau for our public schools that read like a list of who is who in the western states. CEOs, civic leaders, entrepreneurs, leaders of industry, sports celebrities, and political leaders fill the menu of potential speakers, making themselves available to mentor students in our schools. The relevance workshops will resume in Utah's public schools in the 2023 school year. She has served as a member of the board and president of many philanthropic organizations over the years and believes strongly in giving our time to serve and mentor others. Upon discovering that one of her vendors at age 84 was suddenly homeless and had been living in his car for 4 months, she sprang into action. This is an issue that would certainly affect a large percentage of our vendors in their senior years, since almost 80% of our vendors were either self employed or independent contractors. Hardworking people who have no retirement program, no benefits, and no help when they age out of ability to work or have an illness. Her charity, A Village for Bob B. Bond, she plans to build several tiny home villages for seniors in this category of need. An expert in the consumer show industry for over 38 years, Sylvia has built two companies from the bottom up. Her current company, Ultimate Events Inc., is one of the longest running event production companies in the Western states. She was a pioneer for women in her industry. As one of only a handful of female consumer show producers in the country at the time she entered this industry, she is considered to be among the top leaders and innovators in live events. Sylvia is currently an SL County Commissioner on the Redistricting Commission, a member of the Executive Board of Directors for the Daybreak HOA, and is on the Executive Board of Directors for HearTheChildren.org and Executive Director of A Village for Bob.org. The most important aspects of Sylvia's life remain family, faith, and freedom, truly her North Star. This is the introduction of Sylvia Skinner Anderson. Thank you.
Yes,
Hello.
Sylvia, you can start your session. Have a great
Thank
day.
you. Thank you. Well, my title is, of course, Do Not Go Gentle into That Dark Night, which is a quote from Dylan Thomas. And it really emphasizes everything my life is about. Um, Important to understand, and the whole purpose of our gathering on this incredible seminar for women is how do we become an influence in our community? How do we achieve that voice that we all want to have and we all want to help others around us and lift the women in our lives and our friends and loved ones and help them too to have a voice. So, no matter what stage of life you're in, you are an influencer for good or for bad by the things you do or the things you don't do. And so today we kind of want to talk about 5 tools. I want to share with you 5 tools that will help you be an influence for good for those around you. And it will be a natural flow of implementing these tools in your life that you can make a difference in your community, in your home, in your even in your country, for other women to feel that empowerment and feel like they can make a difference too. So the goal is to teach you these tools so that you can teach others and you can inspire other women to do the same. So let's kind of start with those tools. The very first thing is have a vision. Would you ever get in your car, drive, and not know where you were going or have a direction or any thought of where you wanted to end up? I highly doubt it. So, our first part of our vision is an exercise that I like everyone to do. So, for those of you who are listening and wherever you are, stop for just a moment and close your eyes. Do this with me, and it will set up everything. So, close your eyes and capture a vision of yourself, your very best you, the person you want to become, the goals you want to achieve, the family you want to have, the lifestyle or career that you want to have, the impact you want to have on your community. Get a clear vision of you accomplishing your goals. Okay, open your eyes. Let's start. So, as we're beginning the first tool in your arsenal being vision, I would like you to, now that you have a destination in your mind, let's move that goal toward fulfillment and peace. And I want to talk about finding great joy. When I say joy, that's a purposeful word. Joy is lasting and not fleeting. Happiness, when people say they're seeking happiness, that's temporary. That's momentary, it fleets, here it's gone. But joy is lasting and fulfilling. So let's find that deeper meaning, that deeper moment, and let's look for joy in our lives. Once you've got your destination, you're going to need the next tool in your arsenal, and that is attitude. Our attitude is everything. And I remember very well saying to a group of young people, and I've repeated it often, if you'll change your attitude, you'll change your life. And I was teaching this, the young people that I was speaking to at the time were in a high school, and it was in an area that we called East LA, which is inner city. East LA is, same thing for inner city. That is a kind of a defining financially depressed area, usually very low income, generally only one parent in the home. And it's difficult for these kids to make it out of that. It is repeated generation after generation. And as I spoke to them, I said, you can make a difference. If you'll change your attitude, you'll change your life. I promise you this, and I promise you that are listening now, that is the case. When we look at things in our lives, we sometimes look for all the things that are wrong, all the problems, all the trials, all the things that weigh us down and make life difficult. And if you're looking for those, that's what you'll find. But if you start looking at things in a positive way, I know that it works. I've proven it. I came from humble means. In a humble background, we were very poor. And we lived in a very modest home, a humble home. And we had food most of the time. I only had 2 pieces of clothing that I would wear to school, and I would rotate them. I had holes in the bottom of my shoes that I would fill cardboard in so that the water didn't get in. And yet I was a happy child. I realized that in that process, I found joy. I looked for the positive in my life, and I found acceptance with my friends. I did well in school. I just was a positive kid. I just never felt negative, and I actually didn't realize how poor we really were. So as I processed this and grew, I wanted to make sure that I understood attitude. And I wanted to share with you the definition. I'm going to read it so that I don't get it wrong. Attitude is defined as a settled way of thinking or feeling about someone or something, typically one that is reflected in a person's behavior. If you think your attitude doesn't affect your behavior, it does every day, every minute. And for us to be able to rise above that, we must change our attitude and look for the positive and be the positive in our life and in others. When I was teaching these youth about attitude, one girl raised her hand and she said, "You say that I can change my life if I change my attitude, then you don't know my life." And she proceeded to rehearse to me all the hard things that she was going through, things that I can't even imagine going through. And I lived a poor life. And I thought about that and I said, I promise you. And the course that I was teaching was a 6-week course. So I came back as a volunteer in the schools. I came back every week and I would add the next installment of our class. And I gave her these tools and said, apply them to your life this week and come back and report to me next week. And as the 6 weeks went through, there were small improvements every day. And she could feel the empowerment that she was getting by changing her attitude. Instead of feeling, woe is me, why is my life this way? She started looking for the positive in her life. She saw that her mom that came home every night between the two jobs loved her. And she started leaving notes on her mother's pillow. And then her mother would leave her a note on her plate the next morning. And this went back and forth, and they developed a tender, loving relationship that she had a mom that she could speak to, that she really didn't engage with before. And the mom felt like she was parenting when she couldn't parent before because she was working constantly. I want you to know that I truly promise that if you will change your attitude, capture the vision of who you are, where you're headed, change your attitude and work toward the positive, you are headed down the road to achieve anything that you want to achieve and to empower those around you to do the same. So let's talk about the third tool in our belt. And the third tool is character. Character is important. Are you dependable? Are you honest in what you do? Are you loyal? And are you trustworthy? You know, I learned this great character trait by watching horses. And I know that you're just dying thinking, horses, what has that got to do with me? What has that got to do with my life? Well, if you've ever looked at a horse and you're standing and you're facing this horse, a horse will have one eye wandering around the perimeter to watch for problems, to watch for predators, to watch for danger, and they'll focus the other eye on you standing in front of them because you too are an unknown quantity. Have you ever had that experience with people? Have you ever stood and talked to someone and their eyes while you're talking to them, maybe about something serious or frivolous, you're speaking to them and their eyes are wandering and checking out the people that are coming around them? For what? They're not a predator, so what are they checking them for? Well, they're checking them to see if it's a better conversation. They're checking them to see if they're a person that's more important to them than you are. They're checking to see if it's someone that can do something for them. If you are a person of character, you are focused on the person that you are speaking with and interacting with. And that when you look at a horse that gives you both eyes, is trained on you, has just given you all of their trust. And if you want someone's trust, focus both of your eyes on that conversation, on their life and their needs. There's a great man that once said, when you interact with someone, treat them as if they are going through the worst trial of their life. And in 50% of the time, you're accurate. That's something deep to think about. Character is treating people with kindness, with honesty, with integrity, and being the person that you would hope you would be. It's important to show character in all that you do, have integrity. And when you are that person, people are drawn to you. They trust you. We want to be around people that we can trust, that we care about, that build us up, that make us feel good, that give us both eyes. Be that person. The fourth tool in our arsenal is spirituality. And spirituality is interesting. We all have different feelings. We all have different faith. And I personally love any person that feels deeply their faith. And it may be different than mine. It may be contrary to what I believe. I don't care. That's your personal business. And I honor you for that faith and for that strength of character and for your ability to be honorable and to have the vision and to be able to have the attitude that I want to be around. With spirituality, it's a thing that You can grow those around you and support them and make their life better by demonstrating your faith. And I have found that every trial that I have gone through in my life, I've learned from. Whether it's a financial trial and I learned not to live on credit cards, and that was gratefully, I learned that when I was young, or whether it's a personal trial. And I've learned some tools for another time, but I've learned some tools that help me get through a personal trial. But I did find that no matter what we go through or how difficult it is, when we pass through it, and we will pass through it, when we pass through it, to stop and look back and go, what did I learn from that? And for me, with a personal trial, I've always found that I have greater compassion and greater empathy for others when they are going through similar things. It is our ability to empathize with others and to comfort those in need that makes us a better person and able to be more of an influence in those around us. And the final thing that I would say to you is knowledge. That's your fifth tool, knowledge. Gain all that you can. I went back to college at 59 and got my degree at 65. And then I went on to my MBA just in time because there was a 65-year-old limit. You had to be in before then, and I made it. And I was actually thankful for my business that I got my degrees now because I'm using current information to run my companies. And I'm grateful for that. But I'm grateful for the knowledge that I've gained. And what I found is share that knowledge, teach others, lift others, and encourage them to learn more and be more. In going and giving and giving and giving and serving in my community and doing all that I could do to be of influence to others. And it wasn't my purpose, it was just who I was. I got a phone call one day. Remember, I'm this poor girl from a small town that really was nothing special. I got a call one day to go to lunch with one of our state senators. I was shocked and I went to lunch. And at the end of the lunch, it happened to be a female state senator. She invited me. She said, "We'd like you to run for the House of Representatives and we'll support you and help you through." Well, I won. And I wondered at the time, what would the state of Utah want me, a poor girl from nowhere, that how could they want me to represent my whole district of 50,000 homes, to represent the people and their desires and their needs and make sure they're protected in the law, to balance the budget of millions and millions of dollars, and to see that the laws are fair for all people? How could they want that? You too can achieve whatever you want to achieve and be an influence. Strive to use these tools, and I promise you they work. I promise you that you can make a difference in your community and in the lives of others. And I hope and pray that this helps you. God bless.
Thank you so much for your wonderful presentation, Sylvia. So here is the question from our audience. So how can we empower women in leadership roles?
How can we empower what?
How can we empower women in leadership roles?
We empower women in leadership roles by supporting them, by being vocal, by depending upon what your local government is. If you have a woman in a leadership role, you can contact her ask her how you can help her get elected or help her do her job. You can go door to door and talk to your neighbors. And when I ran for office, I literally walked every single night for 4 hours a night, 35,000 homes, knocked on doors, answered questions, trying to find out what their needs were, what issues were matter to them. And you can do it. It isn't just for the wealthy. It isn't just for the learned. It's for Susie Smith down the street that cares about her community. Get involved on the neighborhood level and work your way up to your city level and your state level and your community level. You can be you can empower others, and you can be the one that is empowered by them.
Yes, yes, definitely. So this is well answered. Thank you so much for your beautiful presentation and amazing. Thank you. And so have a great day. So bye for
Thank
now.
you.
So let's jump into the another speaker.